It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by AgileDad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. Someone led me in the direction of checking out a recent article, and it talks about everyone hates the product manager. And it goes on to say, if people like you, you're doing it wrong. And I thought that was just a really interesting approach. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot and see where this article takes us. This article's been around, for about a month or so. So let's see where it goes. It says, quote, "It's really tough to break into product management. And it's a wonder that anyone even tries because, man, does everybody hate a product manager. Product managers are almost universally hated, and with good reason. They just don't get it. They make a lot of excuses. They never deliver. And when they do, it's often a wrong feature. And don't get me started on how poorly they iterate, descope, estimate, roadmap, prioritize their backlog. Being a PM is almost an impossible job by definition. You're supposed to somehow keep all of these disparate sets of people happy, and they all want different things. Not just different, sometimes the polar opposite. The app is too slow, but there's no money to spend on addressing scalability issues, and the continuing expense of updating the cloud infrastructure can't be justified either. CSAT is down, but you can't prioritize those core usability features, which you know will resolve a slew of primary complaints because leadership is busy chasing a shiny key. Velocity is trending downward, but that's because engineers are overworked. But if you can't let them take vacation because low velocity is better than no velocity. Sales are suffering, but you can or won't deliver the rep's top 5 feature requests because they aren't targeting the right ICP. It doesn't seem to be the matter that the ICP is not taking their calls. The product manager role is full of conundrums, and it all leads to a lot of heartache, a lot of anger, and a lot of resentment. There's no way to turn it all around, according to this, there is a way to turn it all around and pave a better path for both yourself and your product. But first, let's have some fun walking through the rationale for why people hate you. You esteemed PMU, the person with the fancy title, the employee with all the wrong answers. Here are the 4 reasons why each and every single group of people despises working with you. Just to get it off our collective chest, let's let it all float in the air a bit. Drench yourself in the aura, then we'll move on to solutions. Engineers are not fans. These folks have to deal with you every day. You're always asking them for updates. No, I don't remember what I did yesterday, but I assure you it was something important. You never listen to them about technical debt until it's too late, and you have to deal with the fallout working evenings when the fit hits the Shan, because the Shan's an important guy. You keep asking these highly logical, analytical, rational humans about timelines and estimates, which are impossible to provide accurate answers for, since they're basically infinite unknowns. You're incapable of providing enough requirements in half of your tickets, so they're completely inactionable. And the other half have too detailed requirements, so it's too much to reasonably digest and get right. Designers and design researchers, ever the cynics, these folks have to design features that you're never going to build. They treat designers like pixel pushers instead of the skillful colleagues they are. You fail to understand, while the final design could have been built quickly if it was the only one, it takes many iterations and user tests to sessions to validate the design and make sure it's final and right. You talk a lot about how urgent the designs are needed, but when the designs are fully delivered, you don't prioritize building the features for months, sometimes even years. You never know what you want because you don't know what you don't know. So designers keep designing designs that miss the mark. Oops, sorry, I forgot to tell you this other important thing that changes everything. The customer-facing success and support teams aren't quite full of supporters. These folks have to deal with all the customers that are angry that they're stuck in this heap of trash. You haven't fixed that bug that one important client but nobody else hit 3 months ago. No, I'm not sure if it's still a bug or not. No, there are no reproduction steps. You're agonizingly slow to respond to support requests for that client that pays us $10 a month but is threatening to churn. Your product is impossible to use, so it's no wonder users keep writing for help. Heck, if I know how to use this use case in that way. You're releasing new features fast enough, but when you do, you're clearly releasing them too fast because they're completely broken on arrival. What about the sales reps? Sales reps doubt at best and mock at worst. These folks have to sell your so-called product. that you helped build, but you didn't build that feature they needed so close to the deal, or that other feature that the other deal needed, or that one feature for the other deal. Your horrible product, which they are responsible for selling, is all but unsellable, and their own personal financial stability is at stake if they can't huck the goods. You say you try to get a feature done by Q3, so the rep promised it by Q2 to make the sale, and the prospect and the client, now they're PO'd, the feature isn't out yet in Q1. Sorry, there must have been a miscommunication. You haven't delivered enough upmarket features, so enterprise clients won't bite. Oh, and you haven't delivered enough downmarket features either, so the small fish won't bite either. The marketing team is disappointed, to say the least. These folks have to convince people that whoever heard of your product that they're light years ahead of the competition as opposed to what it really is, light years behind. You keep promising prioritizing features that aren't sexy. Nobody cares how large your database can scale, or how fast your queue can drain, or how much uptime your AWS EC2s enable your K8 clusters. I don't even know. I know that whole thing. Anyway, you refuse to promise to hit specific dates for future releases, making pre-scheduling marketing campaigns impossible. You refuse to hold off on releases until the marketing team is ready. So they're always scrambling to play catch up and determine packaging after the product should already be on the market. Your product looks like it was built in the 90s, which doesn't exactly exude modern solutions. Oh boy, what a mess. Leadership and other stakeholders, forget about it. These folks have to bring you along for the ride that you're not paid enough or privileged enough to be informed about. You keep pushing back on our totally reasonable and definitely most urgent feature requests as if you know better. You don't get the broader company and product vision or how it will help you define a product category. You continuously are missing OKRs, the ones specifically set up to make sure leadership knows that you're doing your job, and which feed into leadership's own metrics to ensure that they get sweet bonuses. You're not taking accountability for the missing deadline that was thrust upon you, which you claim wasn't feasible in the first place. Product managers don't even like their own fellow product managers. These folks have to deal with your dumb decisions. You didn't prioritize work and support tickets on their product or project, so they missed their deadline, all because of you. And then they didn't get promoted. Your vision disagree with theirs because it's so wrong. I didn't see you with the competitor X didn't you see what competitor X just released? That whole thing. You just stole our top engineer because you brown-nosed leadership, and that's definitely the only reason they weren't going to hit their timelines. Or you built a feature that is tangentially related to their product area. No, they weren't going to prioritize building it. And yes, it helps your team's OKRs and KPIs, but how dare you do that? How dare you? I think you see where I'm going with this. I could go on and on. End users may not know who you are, but if they did, they'd be far from appreciative. You don't even believe in yourself. Everyone hates you, right? Free donuts aren't going to fix the mess. Let's just put it that way. And even if it could, the amount of donuts you'd have to buy is probably outside of your budget. So the only thing left to do is flip the script. But how? You have to find a way to turn this animosity into something that you can use as a benefit. Distill the points of contention down so they're more understandable. Make sure you transform the dislike into from poison into fuel, right? Use that as fuel to help you do better. Use that as fuel to help guide you and figure things out. Don't just let the dislike go, okay, well, they don't like me, so what, so be it. You need to leverage it and figure things out. Don't surrender your own negative emotions. Alchemize the weighty lead of bitterness into product gold. Figure out how to do those things. Help yourself to help yourself. Avoid squeaky wheeling, err towards consistency, manage expectations, all these things you need to do. I think in the end, it's all about how do you capitalize on adversity. Now, in our facilitation class, we have whole sections about how to facilitate through trial, how to facilitate through adversity. And what I can tell you is the results have been amazing. But I encourage you to take a look at this and see where it puts you, because I think at the end of the day, if you understand how to leverage these things, you don't have to be the most hated person in a room. But if you are the most hated person in a room, at least now you know why. That's going to do it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, learn more at AgileDad.com. We'd love to hear from you. As always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.